An incredible idea from a homeless person and a naked dog. Welcome back. I'm Gila Ross, host of the Power Up podcast, where we share short, relatable ideas that impact and upgrade our everyday lives. After 35 years, George was returning to his hometown of Rochester, New York. But he was homeless. And one of his peers turned around to him on that first morning and said to him, "You know, the cops don't bother you when you're wearing a suit." George was not wearing a suit, but he decided to take that piece of advice and he went to the nearest Goodwill, the nearest charity shop there, and he bought himself a pair of dungarees and a sports jacket. And with whatever change he had left, he bought himself a pair of trainers. He didn't have enough money for a smart pair of shoes. He then went into the restroom to change, and he took a few moments while he was there to cut his hair, to scrub himself out, and he walked out feeling a little bit more dignified. And in his own words, he says that the people that day treated him with a little bit more dignity. And as he says, will that fix the ills of society? Not necessarily, but he felt that by upgrading his clothing, he was taking action to improve his lot, which is a fascinating thought. But before we can go down there, let's go back to the beginning and let's look at how clothing came to be. Because every morning, one of the blessings that we say is we thank God for clothing the naked. The first time we're told about nakedness is when Adam and Eve, they first realized after they had sinned, we're told that they realized they were naked and they were embarrassed. Why were they suddenly embarrassed? Keep that question in mind. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a naked dog? Probably yes. When we see a dog, we don't stop and say, "Oh my goodness, there goes a naked dog. What on earth is wrong?" We don't do that. And if you've seen a baby, you may see a naked baby and think, how cute. 3-year-olds are notorious for trying to run around without clothing on. Again, we may have a small reaction. It's not going to be such a big reaction. But if we were to see an adult walking around naked, our reaction is very different. Why? Why is it acceptable for a dog to be naked, but for an adult human being, it's not naked? It's not acceptable. An animal can walk around naked because it is just a physical being. It is governed by its senses and its impulses. A baby or a young child is very similar. They are very, very physical. They have not yet learnt to delay gratification, to make moral decisions. But as we get older, we become more than just a physical being. We develop our soul. We learn to delay gratification. We learn to do right over easy. And that is why we cover, because we're not just a body. We're so much more. We have this beautiful soul, and we cover our body with clothing to reflect that we're not just physical beings. We are more than that. I just want to give a thank you to our friends at Abe & Co. Coffee for sponsoring this episode of the Morning Mindfulness series. Guy Levine of Abe & Co. Coffee believes that the best coffee is the one that you love drinking, and his artisan coffee is one that you will love to drink. And he's given a special code, a 10% discount to all listeners of the Power Up podcast. Just enter in the code Power Up. I will put the website in the show notes. So when we get dressed in the morning and when we make this blessing, thanking God for clothing, we're thanking God for the dual purposes that the clothing we choose to wear, it gives us a message about who we are and what our purpose on this world is, and that gives others a message, an image that we want to portray to others. And we choose by the clothing that we wear what image it is that we portray to others. Thank you so much for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your feedback. You can get in touch with me. I'm on Instagram at Gilaros. Thank you for your time, and please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Have a wonderful day.